This is the OnePlus Open. I've been using it for 2 months now, and I think two things about it are quite unique. The hardware and the software. Okay, that's pretty much everything, so let's talk about it a little bit more in depth in my review. The OnePlus Open is the first foldable from OnePlus, but not the first foldable from the parent company BBK, which also owns Oppo and Vivo, and this advanced know-how is clearly noticeable. This is the second thinnest folding phone, with only 5.8mm when open, logically twice as thick when it's closed, therefore thicker than a regular smartphone, but because the outer display is relatively small with 6.3 inch, it's still comfortable to hold. It's not very thick and not very long like the Samsung Fold. It also weighs just 7 grams more than an S24 Ultra, which is not a folding tablet. Everything is quite angular, everything has a super high quality, and if you look closely, you can see a lot of attention to detail. All the lines, the microphone holes and the speakers are symmetrical. Unfortunately, the OnePlus Open is not completely waterproof, it's only splash proof. I've exposed it to nasty weather several times and it never was a problem. I dropped it once on rough stone floor and the pre-installed protective film prevented the worst. There's also a small dent in the frame, nothing major. Folding phones are way more robust than you think because the screen on the inside is actually flexible, so it can't break, and I've been folding this phone really thousands of times and it feels the same like on the first day. There's no creaking, it is just a flawless build quality. I still haven't made friends with the camera element. It's very large, it sticks out quite a bit, and I'm sure they could have made it a little bit smaller because there's no technology right where the Hasselblad logo is. But I can't really hate the camera element because I wanted a particularly good camera, and whoever says A must say B, and at least the OnePlus Open doesn't wobble on the table because of it. All of the displays on the OnePlus Open are crazy good. The outer one is 6.3 inches in size with a 20:9 aspect ratio and it's very comfortable to hold, just like a Galaxy S24. One-hand use is possible. Bezels are all around very thin, even where the hinge is. The inner display is a decent 7.8 inch in size. It's almost square and, like the outer display, has an above average resolution with around 440 ppi. However, the really striking thing about both displays is that they can reach a maximum brightness of 1400 nits in everyday use and a peak brightness of 2800 nits. In any light, these displays look spectacular. And because both of them have a pleasant size and thin bezels, there's no one that I prefer over the other, like with the Samsung Fold or the Pixel Fold. So the OnePlus Open is more compact than a regular smartphone when I'm doing simple tasks and much larger than a regular smartphone if I need the space to be more productive. When you watch videos, you have thick black bezels on the inside because of the aspect ratio, but you can also put it down half folded. The 3 stereo speakers sound quite powerful, better than a regular smartphone, but I think that the Honor Magic V2 is even better. When I unboxed it, I was quite impressed by the fact that you can see and feel practically no crease in the inner display. I thought this would get worse over time, but it really didn't. I would say it's pretty much the same as on the first day. I can't hardly see any marks. Only if the screen is turned off and there's hard sunlight, I can tell, but in day-to-day use it feels like normal glass and it looks like glass too. I'm normally sensitive to this and sooner or later this has bothered me with every other folding phone, but not here. The technology on the inside is not quite the latest. It's still the Snapdragon 8 Gen 2, but with 16GB of RAM, and let me tell you, there is by no means anything to criticize about the performance. The OnePlus Open feels so direct and fluid, I could swear that it is more than 120 Hz. Everything happens immediately without any loading times or thinking. I'm an impatient guy when it comes to tech, so I totally love the performance on this phone, and there are even 512GB of storage, of course, UFS 4.0. And then there is the software. Usually I do like plain regular Android like on the Google Pixel, but the software on this thing is very special and I do like it very much. I think it's the most intuitive thing out there yet. First of all, it looks beautiful. It's simple, you can customize the icon shape and the color scheme. So far, so regular. It's also nice that you can set how dark the dark mode really is and the color temperature of the display. And there is a phenomenal vibration motor on the inside, which can be tuned. When there is a video playing, you can hold your hand up and the playback stops, but you can also scroll with your hand in the air. And the brilliant idea is that if you close the OnePlus Open, you have a 3-second window of time in which you can swipe up on the outside and continue to use the app. And probably the most brilliant thing about the whole software is the multitasking. Everyone else splits the screen in half, and you can open 2 apps next to each other. But OnePlus expands the apps beyond the display. This is easiest to understand when you see it. You can even open a 3rd app that lies underneath the other 2. And the whole system works so intuitively and quickly and smoothly that I've been using it a lot. Every app is supported and never was there a display error. On the contrary, I had more problems with the Samsung Fold. And of course you have the dock at the bottom with your most used apps, and you can switch between them quite fast. Now I hate every other multitasking. I only have 2 problems with the software. First, there aren't any AI features like on the Google Pixel or Samsung Galaxy. And second, it's still Android 13. There is no Android 14 update to be seen anywhere, and soon there will be the Android 15 beta. So I don't know why OnePlus is taking so long, but it does not have a good feeling in my gut, because there will be 4 years of Android and 5 years of security updates. But if they are already late, I don't know. Maybe it's because they have been banned in Europe and I do live in Europe, so I don't really know, but that's a little bit unfortunate. The best display and performance mean nothing if the battery life sucks. And gladly OnePlus is thinking the same thing, because there's a large battery in the inside with 4800 mAh. In the evening I usually still had 30 to 40% of battery left. On average I had 5 to 6 hours of display use, but it was possible to get more if you use the dark mode or you are generally more in Wi-Fi than I am. I've been pushing this phone quite a lot, and it is possible to get it empty at the end of the day, but there's fast charging. In just 42 minutes, you can charge it from 0 to 100%. Wireless charging is unfortunately not available, but that is probably due to the large camera. OnePlus and the historic camera manufacturer Hasselblad have been working together for 3 years now, and the result is not a new sensor or lens, it's color reproduction. And in my opinion, it actually is the best on the market. Apple has a strange contrast at the moment. Honor is overdone, Google is too much clarity and a little bit too cool, but OnePlus takes photos that look very natural, but they also have something about them. They are a little bit brighter, a little bit crispier, a little bit more vivid. I really like it because it makes people, nature and food look healthy. In MKBHD's blind camera test, the OnePlus Open came 4th, just behind the Google Pixel devices. But he didn't test the ultra-wide angle and the telephoto lens, and both are above average in the OnePlus Open. Both have a 1/2-inch sensor, and in case of the ultra-wide angle with 48 megapixel and the telephoto has 64 megapixel. Both rather unusual, and the benefits are obvious. Sharper, less noisy photos with more dynamic range. The ultra-wide angle of the OnePlus Open easily puts the iPhone 15 Pro, Pixel 8 Pro and S24 Ultra in the pocket. It doesn't feel like a downgrade compared to the main camera. And the same applies to the telephoto. Although it's only 3x and many others have 5x these days, the quality is simply superb. You can easily jump to 6x. I've probably taken 1/3 of all of my pictures with this camera. And the close focus is also quite good. And now there is the point where I want to talk about camera sensors for way too long. The 48 megapixel main sensor is a Sony LYT T808. And thanks to double transistors, it has up to 40% better light sensitivity, 50% lower noise and 30% faster readouts. And these technical advantages are way more useful in everyday life than a larger sensor. Photographers will get their money's worth with the X-Pan mode or 28 or 35mm as a standard focal length if desired. I think the photos speak for themselves, so I will talk a little bit here and there so you have more time to look at them. Because this is a folding phone, I can simply place it down when I want to take a picture and make selfies with the main camera. But the selfie camera is actually quite good. I think the one on the inside is not that great. Videos are possible with 4K and 60 FPS. I also like those because I've taken many videos with this phone and nobody has ever complained. Conclusion: the OnePlus Open has great hardware and great software. For real, the screen, the performance, the build quality, the cameras, the battery life, all of that is above average. It's just great. There are, of course, some drawbacks: no wireless charging, no real waterproofing, and of course the price is quite high. It's 1,799 euros here in Germany, so that's quite expensive, but actually, you know, all of the other phones are more expensive if they are like folding and this form factor. So it's actually the cheapest one and the best one, and I can't be mad about that, right? I think this is the best phone out right now, and that's why I'm using it and that's why I really do love it. And I think it's a great phone, and I'm interested to know, is your next phone foldable? Tell me in the comments and I will see you in the next one. Bye.